It's Friday, May 10. We have lots to tell you. Oral submissions into the December 21, 2018 vote continued before the Caribbean Court of Justice. Senior counsel Neil Boston was the first to present arguments today.
It's day 2 of oral submissions before the CCJ. Oral submissions began at 9 o'clock. First to make his presentation was senior counsel Neil Boston. He is representing Compton Reed. He was then followed by attorney at law Roystel Ford, who is representing Joseph Harmon. During a quick break, we had a word with Mr. Ford.
This is the fundamental to why we're here appealing. What is really the meaning of the provision? Those on the other side are contending that the phrase vote of confidence, which appears in Article 106 of our Constitution, means a vote of no confidence, as you would find in the Trinidadian Constitution. We're saying that it means exactly what it says, a vote of confidence. So my submission was geared on putting that provision into context in relation to all the provisions of the Constitution as a whole. So it is our submission that it does not mean a vote of no confidence. It means a vote of confidence. It means that it could be brought by the government. But that provision does not permit a vote of no confidence to be brought to trigger the consequences. But I'm not saying that you can't bring a vote of no confidence. It's just that you cannot have the consequences provided under Article 106.6 if you don't comply with it. So to comply with it, you have to file a vote of confidence. You win it, and you have the consequences of it.
He also explained the importance of this case for the entire region.
The provisions that the court has to determine are provisions peculiar to the provisions of our Constitution. There's no other provision in the Constitution similar in Trinidad, Jamaica, anywhere else. So what is a vote of confidence is only a vote of confidence for Guyana. All the other constitutions provide something different. As a Caribbean community, I think we should be paying attention. We should be paying attention to what is happening in our neighboring countries as a whole, have an interest in it. But it is not that it would necessarily constitutionally impact on their constitution. But we should understand as a Caribbean community, at the Caribbean Court of Justice, that we have a common interest, which is the development and well-being of the region as a whole.
From Port of Spain with senior videographer Kwesi Wishart, Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
Some of the parties are to provide written submissions to the CCJ by early next week, following which the CCJ will make an announcement of its ruling. In less than a year, Guyana will experience an oil boom which will catapult it to the top of South America's rich list. An online report from the BBC highlighted that with a population of around 750,000 in per capita terms, Guyana's wealth is set to skyrocket. ExxonMobil, the main operator in Guyana, says it has discovered more than 5.5 billion barrels worth of oil beneath the country's waters in the Atlantic Ocean. With this in mind, the government of Guyana, through the Department of Energy, has embarked on a series of engagements across the country to educate the populace on the imminent wealth. In the article, head of the Environmental Protection Agency, Vincent Adams, noted that with the impending oil boom, education is the key to avoiding the oil curse. According to him, education is the foundation and is the best investment that Guyana or any country can make. ExxonMobil has made 13 discoveries offshore Guyana in the Stabroek Block and is expected to begin oil production in 2020. Ministerial representatives and technocrats from various Caribbean countries today returned to the Artichon Conference Center to participate in the final discussions of the 8th International Road Federation IRF Caribbean Regional Congress.
The morning discussion kicked off with a panel discussion on working together for a better future, infrastructure in oil and gas economies, which focused largely on the need for proper planning for long-term sustainable development in Guyana. Here is what one of the panelists, Patrick Thompson, had to say.
It is very important moving forward that we have a very clear vision, and that vision will come from our leadership. My wife likes to tell me that if ever you want to steal a man's vision, give him two. And so it's very important that we have a united vision that incorporates not only infrastructure but all the sectors of our economy, and that vision comes from our leadership.
Director of Energy, Dr. Mark Bino, added,
It may be important for us to step back and review to determine whether what was being planned is sufficient for the new Guyana that we are projecting for. That having been said, I'm happy to hear a broader discussion, not just on roads, but the issues surrounding physical, social, and economic infrastructure. It allows us an opportunity to pursue what I would consider no regrets measures, that we're able to learn from both Trinidad and Tobago and others, and inculcate within our development plan a more informed, evidence-based development approach.
As the day progressed, there were other informative discussions on road safety, maintenance programs and solutions, and the importance of road sector leadership. Coming to you from the Arthur Chung Conference Center, for InfoHub, Onika Bob.
President David Granger has extended his heartfelt condolences to the immediate family members, other relatives, and friends of Magda Pollard following her passing. Born in 1931 in the village of Boxton on the east coast of Demerara, Pollard in her younger years taught home economics at the Bishop's High School before transitioning to principal of the Carnegie School of Home Economics from 1957 to 1978. She also served as Women Affairs Officer at the CARICOM Secretariat. She was a beneficiary of 2 national awards, the Cacique Crown of Honor and the Golden Arrow of Achievement. More on this story can be found on our website and social media platforms. Still to come, Tobacco Control Council established, and 3rd edition of Harmony Village taken to Region 6. Details after the break.
Are you ready to embark on a truly epic adventure to an undiscovered corner of South America, where some of the most spectacular natural attractions are unveiled within a beautifully diverse landscape? From the wetlands and savannas to the ancient mountains, magnificent waterways, and lush enriching rainforest would provide a vast playground for some of the most exotic and breathtaking creatures on the planet, including many of the world's giant species. This untouched land of mystery and wonder serves up an exclusive experience for travelers. So are you ready for a new, awe-inspiring adventure? Welcome back to nature. Welcome to Guyana.
Welcome back. As part of the Ministry of Public Health's mandate and in accordance with the Constitution, the Tobacco Control Council has been established.
The newly launched council consists of 10 members. Minister of Public Health Valda Lawrence had some advice for the council.
Being on this council will give you an insight in a very in-depth way in terms of why the government, and more particularly the Ministry of Public Health, is taking such a stance on tobacco.
Member of the council and attorney-at-law Cassandra Alves cited the need for governments to control the tobacco industry.
What we call Article 5.3 provisions. Article 5.3 is an article in the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control that requires that the government protect tobacco control policies and laws from tobacco industry interference. And we experienced a lot of this interference. I gave you a little highlight of the day when we were trying to pass the bill. But this interference started way back in 2011. While we were holding consultations, they also held consultations, invited the medical community, tried to debunk the scientific evidence that has proven that smoking is bad for your health. And, they tried to lobby members of parliament, try to sway them so that they wouldn't vote in favor of tobacco control. So we've had tobacco industry interference throughout this process. And so we have very strong Article 5.3 provisions in the Act that requires that, if you have a conflict of interest, you can't be involved in tobacco control.
Guyana is currently on the list with 5 other Caribbean countries that has managed to have tobacco control and regulations. According to Act 17, Part 3 in the Constitution, The role of the Tobacco Control Council is to advise the Minister on matters related to tobacco control and the administration and enforcement of this act.
Now we need qualified human and other resources for implementation, whether we train the staff that we have, whether we hire people to deal specifically with tobacco control, but human and financial resources are an issue. We need to train our enforcement officers, that's the police, customs, our health inspectors, our officers in the Bureau of Standards, our occupational safety and health authority workers, our EPA workers, everybody that the act, so in the act, these persons are specified as enforcement officers.
For InfoHub, Kippany Jordan.
Tomorrow, May 11, will mark the 4th anniversary of the coalition government since ascending to office. Following general and regional elections, which was held on May 11, 2015, the six-party APNU plus AFC coalition was elected to form the government of Guyana. Under the leadership of President David Granger and Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, the coalition government has piloted the country towards a stable and growing economy, promoted and defended its sovereignty and territorial integrity, restored respect for Guyana as a democracy in which all human rights and press freedom are protected, and supported and encouraged social cohesion among multi-ethnic, multicultural, plural population. A release from the government said they confidently believe that there are good reasons for all Guyanese here and in the diaspora to celebrate the achievements over the past 4 years. The full statement can be read on our website. In light of the recent spate of power outages, officials from the Guyana Power and Light Incorporated provided a statement later this afternoon.
At 11:24 hours, the Demerara-Berbice interconnected system suffered a major shutdown. However, consumers along the west coast of Demerara were still powered. This was as a result of technical difficulties or failure to one of our 69 kV transformer that is rated at 35 MVA. Due to the fault of that transformer, we subsequently lost approximately 35 megawatts of power. That's from the 2 power stations at Kingston, which resulted in areas in Demerara and Berbice being out of power.
Kingston 2 power plant had encountered technical glitches that resulted in the loss of approximately 19 megawatts, leading to more power outages that affected residents of Demerara. GPL effectively restored electricity by 14:38 hours on Friday.
Well, the situation is definitely under control. We are working around the clock to ensure that there is no reoccurrence.
Reported from the GPL power station in Sophia with videographer Mahinder Raj, Shaquille Bourne, for InfoHub.
Stakeholders of Region 6 have welcomed the hosting of the 3rd edition of Harmony Village, organized to cultivate an appreciation of cultural diversity.
The hosting of Harmony Village in Region 6 was welcomed by stakeholders as the Department of Social Cohesion held its first planning meeting for the event. The meeting was held with stakeholders from various parts of the region at the Skeldon Heritage Resort to plan how they can effectively host activities come June 26. Stakeholders were able to share their ideas that will make the event a success and benefit all. They also believe that the event will help to bring the people of the region closer together.
It is a great idea, and I think the community will be benefit a great lot from it. In terms of, they will be exposed to a lot of activities from our community. You know, many of people would not be familiar with what is taking place in our community. So by having this here, a lot of people will be out there to see what we are doing.
It's a good idea, the event, because it gives us opportunities to showcase our talent, our food, our craft, all the local aspect of our culture. We have the opportunity to showcase it on this event.
The time is just right, because as we all know, recently we've been having a lot of problems racially, politically, and everything. So I see it as a means of bringing us together to do something meaningful to bring about unity and cohesion.
The Department of Social Cohesion, Culture, Youth and Sport Acting Program Coordinator Natasha Singh Lewis said that the event aims to build a unified country. The meeting was deemed a success and another will be held to finalize logistics. The Harmony Village is slated to be held in the compound of the Skeldon Heritage Resort with some 60 booths. Reporting from the Skeldon Heritage Resort, I am Isaiah Braffett with videographer Kareem Peters for InfoHub.
That's all for this evening. Connect with us on WhatsApp, like and subscribe to our Facebook page for notifications, and subscribe to our website for more stories. You can also follow us on Instagram for updates. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Goodbye.